All right, this is Smarty MC, and this is Smarter Than Trauma because I got through a whole bunch, and I'm posting a ton, and I am going to meet my deadline this month. So Season 2, Episode 4, that's a case study because at one point I watched people talking to each other, literally 2 feet away from their faces, just talking all at the same time, and I literally took a step back, and I said, I'm watching this thinking, communication is not good here. No one's really listening to each other. And yet I hear these words floating in the atmosphere. What is that? So I'm going to take you back, now that I have my voice intact, to a place not that long ago. To a place not that far away. And not that long ago. I am not great at doing this yet, but I do know that I have to attempt it. So let's begin. Are we ready to close your eyes and dive? Here's what you need to know to survive. When I talk rhythmically, that's the pain in my body popping around that you can't obviously see, but I'm validating it because one thing you need to know in relationships or with any sort of, relationship, doesn't have to be romantic, could be platonic, could be between siblings, it could be between siblings or between parent and child. But these relationships and validation, that frustration and my words about the principal floated up in the back, past. The black back of his back as he walked out of my classroom real fast. Left your laptop, and why when I carried it, the weight of it. And why Jameson, I've been dropping those off all over the city, quite frankly. Nobody's ever asked me. Darn. So advocacy is a dialogue, not a monologue. And the people that did ask me questions and were curious to understand this allowed me the space to explain. And that's the issue. It doesn't quite happen often. But what do you want to know about trauma? PTSD, chronic pain, post-concussion syndrome, vertigo, vestibular, etc., etc. Because I'm at the tail end of it. My body feels great, and yet it is a lit, and you can't see any of it. So I use my voice to express it and also to recognize we're through it. And that means we need to return to the statute of limitation and the violence that happened with my students because I want to change policy. And that means I took the emotion out of it, meaning my body can handle it. So physically, my nerves are better. And I let my doctor know yesterday and today, hey, I ended trauma. So write it in my paperwork that this is the only thing that matters. Correct the inaccurate record and do things so differently that people are so shocked that they will stay away from me because the words were, I know you better than you know yourself. So I knew, fine, I'm a survivor victim, which means I don't speak. That's the only thing he knew because that's what I said to him. The thing I said that was so difficult. And why I chose to be a teacher behind the scenes. No spotlight on me. And so you remember? You better stay away from me. Because no one really wants to mess with this PTSD. I'm serious. Do not mess with it. Thank you. Are you ready to transform? If I need to drop off the notes from the pelvic exam physical therapist I've been seeing since last year, that's great because she writes explicitly what had happened as I say it, as she's touching me. So there's a lot of, you're right, when the PTSD can be considered mental, but the cognitive, I want cognitive above mental. And I want, primary has a point because that's what I mean. All these diagnoses, we can't figure it out. Well, let me explain it to you. Unfortunately, I lost language. Today is August 17th. I've been posting so much. Gee, what happened? I told you. The board of directors and TBG, they're cahoots and their behaviors. Seriously, you talk about privacy, but then when you get the opportunity, you actually mock me and threaten me. So thanks for doing that, because I tell ya, the whole point is to describe how I got my two cats. Helping me get out this crap, because it's the same behavior, that's a fact. All these groups have a connective thread. That's why my anticipation and dread of being around people who'll do the same thing. And that is why it's a sing-along. So sing with me. Really? This is the best type of way that I learn now. It's different before. Like before I could just read and write. I didn't have a photographic memory, but if I repeated it over and over and over again, I could memorize easily, breezily. And why school was so easy for me. Seriously, I had so much social time. That's why I worked, had great friends, visited my family a lot, and went through school. And now let's get back to that. Technology. Hot or not? I don't want to stray too far away from rape culture, because that's the whole point. I'm going to hide behind all this other stuff when the goal is to get right there into the heaviest, because my assaults were April 5th and I was in the wedding of the century, April 5th, and that's 4/5. And I got back dates August 1st and secured them August 16th with the board of director meeting. How do I know? Well, because I got through my podcast, whereas I've been stuck at it. You want to go back and see my broadcast, there's a timestamp for it. That's how I do this. Reliance on technology until I am completely independent of it. But then I'll have the facts and the knowledge of it and what it's supposed to do for us. I don't think we're commodities, pieces of meat. I think we're supposed to erupt against those most corrupt. This is Smarty MC. And this is SmarterThanTrauma. Open mic, day 1. Hello and welcome. Where self-education will be for everyone, not just some. All right, that is E for everyone, because my student taught me the rating scales for video games. I didn't know about them. So I know for a fact he was playing mature because he told me. And my students do not lie. That's why I prefer my students in my classroom. The population I like to work with are the most honest people on earth. They just happen to be kids with special needs. That's it. I found my safest space. And I guess I'll just have to do it again. Oh, I meant to say that Wednesday, August 17th, so we can compare the June 29th audio recording. No, I want traumatic brain injury as my primary, because this is sensory. Done. I touch things, my fingers are lit, it goes up my shoulders, my neck, my back, my buttocks, my neck, and my head. That's it. I have trouble eating because of chewing. I have to be very mindful of digestion because everything hurts in my lower body. My pelvic floor therapist wrote extensively and was very clear every visit to talk about what I was saying, because touch matters. And when doctors can't touch you, because they're, my triggers are lying to my face, lying on paper, and contradictions you can't explain, and instead just ignore non-response. Get it? I'm the same way. I found a safe place to play. Classroom. And if they didn't give me a classroom, I made the world my classroom, okay? So now, do you hear the difference in the voice? So no, I want traumatic brain injury as primary, because everyone knows that sensory. I didn't know that, but that was something I saw on a YouTube thing. It was bizarre because I'm like, they just said TBI. I've never heard traumatic brain injury used in the media. So that was really helpful. And now I'm thinking, you know what? I bet there's a ton of stuff out there. I need to start researching. And why is research a bad word? Well, it's never mind. I'll talk about it later. Clearly, I'm not ready for it. All right, thanks. And that's why I broke out into a poem when really all I wanted to say was, hey guys, it's not PTSD. It might have been in the moment, but that's why she labeled me that, sent me somewhere where I said, hey, this isn't a good place to go. What about the other traumatic brain injury, nerve radiculopathy, chronic pain, neck pain, and symptoms of vertigo? Because I was hit in the head. And also I was told I would be pushed off a cliff, so that impacts flat. Sorry, but he said words to me to describe it, so I believed him. And that's why the opposite popped up. Chicago Parks District said to me, administration, we all stick together and no one will believe you. And that is literally the experience of what I'm getting to. And why, okay, it's a club, I get it. Because they bragged during COVID how they wanted it to continue. I'm serious. That's why I'm a little disgusted. All right, thanks everyone. This concludes Wednesday, and tomorrow I will try to finish the rest of the podcast minutes. I'm just trying to get it out as much. Because I'm ready to finish. Okay? Thanks, everyone. Bye.